Hey everyone. I got a question the other day about what was my GM toolkit, and I thought that was an interesting idea to talk about. And I'm going to specifically talk about what I do at conventions because that's really where I play in person live and where a lot of the kind of things that are interesting happen. World, one of the best games today. Hey everyone, it's Carl with Tabletop Tango. Look at the bubbles, do the stuff. Would love your subscription because I'm looking to try to get to a milestone so I can have a celebratory live stream based on hitting that milestone. Also would love your support. All that money goes right into the channel, goes right into buying new peg stuff that we can talk about and that sort of thing. So would love that support. So what do I want to talk about today? So I want to talk about kind of what I put in my bag or what I try to bring to conventions to be kind of live and in person and that sort of thing. So the first thing, of course, is books. Now, all my normal playbooks are in PDF on my computer, and that's fine. When I go to a convention, I don't like bringing my laptop to the game. So I do, based on the game I'm playing, I do have my core rule book. I will have the companion that makes sense, whether it's a superpowers companion, fantasy companion, or horror companion even, and coming up, sci-fi companion. And those would be the things that I would bring with me and might throw in my bag so I have them just in case I need them, but normally don't look at that. And then the last thing that's in my bag as far as a book or kind of that sheet goes is a raise calculator. Everybody should have one. It's very simple. I think I found mine just by searching on Google for an image, and it allows you to look at the target number, and then for each target number, you can see what the raise is and what a success is, and so very valuable sheet. You should have that. So what's the second thing? Second thing is bennies, bennies. I love to have custom bennies for my game. So for example, my fantasy game, I have dragons, which are little plastic dragons. Those are my bennies I throw to players as they're doing things. For a science fiction game, I have little spaceships, and so I can toss those spaceships as bennies to folks. And you can do that in your games. That's a very typical thing in Savage Worlds. And so my convention coming up, I have the Lost Tower of Taladus, which is a dragon lance. Going to have the dragon bennies. I also have zombie bennies for my zombie game, little zombie characters that I can use, and so that's pretty fun. So always have custom bennies for the game that I'm playing. The next thing is card decks. You can use a plain card deck. I like themed card decks, again, just like themed bennies. And so for my fantasy game, I have a card deck that has dragons and kind of fantasy things on them. So really kind of cool. It looks nice. It's got dragons and kind of those elements, and that really goes along with the Dragonlance game that I play. For my science fiction game, the Helix Nebula Situation, I have space-themed cards. And so these include pictures of nebulas, spaceships, different constellations. And so very, very cool stuff. Really think that's just awesome. And I love using themed cards. You should too if you're playing live. And then the next thing is something that really isn't an essential GM thing, but I do like, and I'm going to start using a dice tray. I roll in the open, and I think every game master for Savage World should roll in the open so people can see your explosions and stuff like that. So I'm getting a dice tray I'm going to bring with me, set it in front of my my GM screen, and then I can just drop the dice in and roll them. Everybody can see them. I don't have to worry them going all over the table. So that's something that I'm bringing. It's going to be hard to fit in my backpack probably, but I think its value outweighs the size. I also had a dice tower, which I used to use. You set those up and it would roll, but that was a little less convenient because I had to reach up around to grab the dice out of it, and that was even more difficult to carry and bring with me. And so one last thing is the games themselves. I do not use like big maps on the ground with lots of figures. I try to do two things with my games. First, I always have pre-gens for the players that are themed. So for the Helix Nebula Situation, I have the robot pictures, I have the scene of the space station behind it, I also bring little like cheat sheets for Savage Worlds. I even have a flow chart which goes through combat step by step. So if somebody really needs that and they're kind of that learner, they can take advantage of that. Like I mentioned, I don't use maps. I use kind of 8x11 sheets or bigger sheets that have kind of an overview map. So like the Helix Nebula situation, the map is what you'd see on a panel. If you went up to a panel on a ship and said, show me where medical is, it would show up a picture and you know where it is. In a spaceship, the distances and the ranges are small. It doesn't, you really don't have to deal with the fact that you have complicated maps. For my game, is this just another bug hunt? I do the same thing. I have the maps of the facility sort of laid out. And this one I put on a big, I don't know, like 2x3 sheet. And so that rolls flat. It's not a tactical map. It shows the layout of the colony and their living quarters. So again, I don't use big maps. I like mostly theater to mind, but I have maps that let people understand the layout. For my zombie game, for example, I have a picture of the mall like you'd find in one of the little fold-outs that might be at the entrance of the mall. So that's the sort of thing I do. And then finally, I do use a GM screen. It's not that important to use, but I like to be able to have my notes open behind it. I don't really use it for the information on it. Plus, on the other side, I have Savage Worlds pictures that basically, I printed out those, I slid them in, and it's kind of cool looking, and I think the players do appreciate that. So that is my essential toolkit that I have and I bring to conventions to play with. Take up space. It's not designed to be like the minimalistic GM toolkit. It's really what I'd like to have when I go play events. And I try to get the event space so I don't have to carry all my bennies at the same time and that sort of thing. And I like cool dice if I can get away with it. Dice are harder to find themed, but if I could find themed dice, I'm going to use that too. So anyway, there it is. I hope you enjoyed it. In the comments, what is your essential GM toolkit? What do you bring to conventions, or what do you do when you play live? What are some of the cool themed bennies you use? What are kind of the cool decks that you have? Would love to hear about it, and we can all learn together. Thanks again. This is Carl with Tabletop Tango. Look at the bubbles, do the stuff, support us, subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll catch you later. Bye. Savage Worlds, one of the best games today.